Morning, guys. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone is just down here. She says hello. So do I. Hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love. Please do me a favour, guys. Smash the like button on the video if you enjoy the content. It really does help the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're about 30 away from 20,900. So about 130 away from 21k, which is exciting. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's topic. And it's game day. It is game day. Best day of the week. Although the shine has been taken off it a little bit for me, knowing that we're without Christian Romero for 5 weeks. But you know what, we kind of figured it out last night on a live stream, that really it's 4 games that we have to get through where we're without most of the kind of star players. Possibly 3 or even 2 for some. You've got today's match against Brighton, and we're going to go through the team news there in just a minute, because Brighton have got a horrendous amount of injuries too. So it's kind of Tottenham's A- team or B+ team versus Brighton's A- or B+ team. So it's going to be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going down there. Got to leave very early again today though, because parking is a disaster. And I was slow off the mark. Didn't think about it. And all of the good parking spots are taken. So I'm going to have to go down there early and try and hustle my way to a spot. Anyway, when we thought about this Romero loss, and you looked into it, so you've got Brighton game tonight, and then you have Bournemouth, a very much informed Bournemouth side, coming to our place on Sunday, is it? For the New Year's Eve show. And then you've got Burnley in the Cup, which is also at home. And I think that all 3 of those games should be winnable, even with the kind of state of our team at the moment. And then Manchester United on the 14th. But by Manchester United, or 16th, sorry. By Manchester United, we should have Mickey van der Ven back. There's an outside chance of getting Maddison back. Maybe they're not going to play all the games, but maybe they can come off the bench if needs be for the last 20 minutes, give us something different. And then you've got a 2-week break because of, then you've got Brentford, I think it is, the following week, or the FA Cup 4th round, whichever one it is. And so by then you've got the 2-week break, and then by then you come back. And yes, you're going to be without Sonny still and Pape Sarr still. But by then you should have Maddison back, you should have Van der Ven back, you should also have Romero back, because 5 weeks will bring you through till just after the international break. So you could be full strength backline, and you could also be a much better looking midfield option. You can bring Decky back into the 8 maybe, you can put him back out on the wide right. We have options again. And then we just need to figure out a way to score goals. And hopefully in January that will have been also resolved with regards a new forward for the left, whether that's Rooney, Bargy, Mr. Onion, or whether it's going to be Antonio Nusa, Jota, whoever. We've spoken about these players ad nauseum, and maybe there'll be a striker in the shape of Santiago Jimenez, which will be interesting as well. So as much as losing Romero is a big deal, and it's another kick in the teeth for our medical department, I feel like the 3 games, the hardest game is United away, and they might have turned the corner now because of what they did against Aston Villa. That might be an uplift for them, plus the kind of good news, at least regarding some fans, for Sir Jim Ratcliffe's arrival. There's a bit of a mood shift happening at Manchester United. So that one might be a very trickier game, a lot trickier now without Romero. But Man United are still, let's not pretend like they're suddenly game-changing, well-beating players. They're not. But the other 3, Bournemouth, Burnley, Brighton, I don't want to, curse the gods and tempt fate, etc. But I feel like we've got better squads than them, even with our B+ team. So we should be able to put on some sort of competitive performance. So we move, guys, we move. No point in worrying about it, crying over spilt milk. It is what it is. Let's just move and make the best of what we have. Let's talk about Brighton, shall we? Brighton versus Tottenham. Tottenham's team needs, as you know, no Romero, no Van der Ven, no Maddison, no Bissouma, no Perisic, no Solomon. Udogie returns from suspension. The back line is probably going to be Pedro Porro. I would go with Emerson Royale and Ben Davies and Destiny Udogie, Vicario in goal. The interesting, tricky bit is to figure out what we're going to do in the midfield. Now, why was it that Ollie Skip was played against Everton? Is it because Højbjerg has intimated to Ange Postecoglou, I want out, I'm arranging it, the deal is almost going to get done, I don't want to risk an injury in the last games before January? Is that the motivation? If so, that's a real shame, because he's been professional all the way to the top. So I'm not even suggesting it is the case. Maybe it's just a case of Ange saying, well, look, we're going to need to play Ollie Skip over the next 5 weeks. So it's good to give him a bit of a run. We need to play him, give him some time, see how he handles it. I don't think he played particularly well against Everton, but others did. So, that's what makes a market, different opinions. I think he'll stay in the team. I personally would rather see Højbjerg, and the reason being that it's because of the fact that our defence is going to be prone to giving up opportunities in this game. That happens more frequently if you give the ball away. And Ollie Skip, as much as I think he's a good defensive midfielder getting back and tackling, I don't rate him with the ball at his feet. I think he's sloppy and he'll give the ball away. And that's where you can get hurt in the transition. It's going to be an interesting battle to see who has kind of possession supremacy tonight, because Brighton like to play with the ball as well. It's going to be an end-to-end game, I think. But I just worry a little bit about Ollie Skip being in there. But maybe the reason to bring him in there is because of the fact that we've got weaker central defenders, that you need someone who's a bit more combative and a bit more of a tackling DM in the six than what Højbjerg can offer. And that to me is interesting. So I personally would go with Højbjerg, but I'm expecting to see Ollie Skip. In front of him, it's obvious, Pape Matar Sarr. No reason to change that. The guy covers every blade of grass. As Brian Daigle told me last night, his nickname for Pape Matar Sarr is the lawnmower, because he covers every blade, I think. You know what, I stumbled my way through that. It didn't sound very good. In front of him, it's got to be Decky. Has to be Decky, because you need that guy in the middle. He's at his best in the middle, just using his strength, protecting the ball, whipping the ball left and right, and then getting into dangerous positions. Sonny up the top. Sonny on the left, obviously. That's where we're seeing it right now. And Richarlison up the top. On another day, with that full-strength squad, you can make the argument for Sonny to go in the 9 here, because you'll get opportunities with Brighton playing a higher line. So Sonny on the shoulder makes sense. Maybe you'll see a little bit of kind of fluidity, guys. Bit of like interchanging between Richarlison and Sonny. But I expect Sonny to start the game at least in the 9. Sonny on the left. And on the right, of course, Brennan Johnson, who is growing and getting better by the game. He's still not there yet. He's raw. Give the guy time. He will grow into his position, learn the trade, and become a very useful member of our squad. I expect him to have a breakout season next year. He's still got a long way to go, but he works hard, and his instincts of how to play the game, I think, are pretty good for someone of his age. Sorry if it's very windy, guys. It's coming across pretty gusty and blustery today. As far as Brighton go, I'm going to have to get the list out. I took a photo of it so I can call it out to you. They've got a lot of players injured as well. Ansu Fati is injured. Espinola, Jan Veltman, Estupinan is injured. At least according to some reports he's injured. Other reports say that he's back tonight, back from injury. Webster's injured. Tariq Lamptey's injured. Mitoma's injured. Solly March is injured. And I've seen other places say that Adingra is also out injured with a hamstring. But other places say he's probably in the selected 11. So a lot of injuries as well for Brighton. And as such, it's difficult to pick their 11. But what I would say is their fullbacks are probably the areas where you could probably have some success tonight. Hinshelwood, I think, is the 18-year-old, good player, but he's 18, a little bit kind of wet behind the ears, probably something we can attack down their right, down our left. And Igor is the centre-back who's been shoehorned out to the centre-back, to the left-back spot because of the injuries that they have to their full-back situation. He's their kind of last recognised, not even a recognised left-back, but someone who can play out there if a Stupinan is out. If a Stupinin's back, then Brighton will have a lot more confidence going forward and attacking down that hand side. Lewis Dunk will be joined by Van Heck in the middle. They'll probably play a 4-2-3-1. Billy Gilmore and Pascal Gross will be in the double pivot. Billy Gilmore's a very sort of interesting player, runs around a little bit like an Ollie Skip in my opinion, but sort of better on the ball though. And of course you've got, Gross is, I think, a wonderful player, serially underrated, and someone who pops up with goals. Positional sense is very good. He's a strong tackler, good passer of the ball, good team player, and yeah, don't write him off. He's a very, very good player. The 11 that I've gone for is a Dinger on the left, Lallana through the middle, and Buonanotte on the right. And then you've got to pick your poison between João Pedro and Evan Ferguson up top. Personally, I think they'll go with Pedro, who's a bit of one of these. He's a strange player, João Pedro. Very, very talented player. When he plays well, Brighton seem to play well, but he doesn't always play well. Sometimes he doesn't turn up. One of these kind of, I'm not going to call him a fair weather player, but just a player that sometimes can go a little bit missing. But if that is the case, if he plays well, he'll stay on and will be a real threat. And if he doesn't, then they can easily hook him and bring on an entirely different type of forward in Evan Ferguson, who can just hold the ball up when needed. If they take a lead, he'll be the perfect outlet. But he's also fantastic. He's faster than you kind of think when you see him play. Deceptively quick, Evan Ferguson. Good with both feet, good in the air, strong. And I wouldn't be surprised if Evan Ferguson started because of our centre-back issues. But they might want to play sort of more. It'd be unusual to see Brighton do it, but as an option, they can put balls into the box. And with Evan Ferguson's strength in the air against our relatively underwhelming aerial sort of strength without Romero, who I think has won nearly every aerial duel he's been involved in this season. His absence. Look, Royale's pretty good in the air. I think that was one of the best things about him last season. Defensively at the back post, his aerial prowess was pretty important. But in any event, I don't expect Brighton to go that sort of direct. It's not in their kind of DNA. But like I say, it's just an option should they need to. If they're chasing the game, if we're 2-0 up, they might sort of change things up and go in that direction. But look, for Tottenham, like I say, I still think our midfield can have the better of their midfield. I still think that our forward line, Sonny, get the ball to Sonny, get the ball to Brennan Johnson, and drive at their kind of inexperienced fullbacks. If those two are the two that play in Igor and Henshelwood, then Tottenham have got chances to get in behind and then whip the ball in and pop the ball to Richarlison, who could have a good chance. Aerially, Lewis Dunk obviously is a monster, so be interesting to see what happens. Let me know your score predictions, guys. Let me know if you've got a different team selection. I'm okay with seeing, that's the team I expect to see, the one that I laid out, but I'm happy to see some alternatives. I don't want to see Eric Dyer start. I don't particularly want to see one of the youngsters start either. Emerson Royale for me is the right choice. He's done well when he's been called upon. And hopefully we will get the result we want. I'll be at the game tonight, guys, so I expect to see some matchday content from in and around the stadium. And make sure you look out for the vlog that will probably be posted late tomorrow, or late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, bye-bye.